welcome back to another Vlogmas video. I'm only going to say that a few more times this year, which feels wild because today is the 20th of December. It's currently Sunday and I can't believe that there are only 5 days left till Christmas. And that also means that there are only 4 days left of my tea advent calendar, which I'm really sad about. I have been loving trying a new tea every single day, even though it has been quite the roller coaster and I haven't loved every single tea. There have been some really cool ones and it's just been really cool to try loads of different flavours and basically just get out of my comfort zone, because as much as I love my standard English breakfast teas and Earl Greys, I do just get in the habit of drinking that several times a day because I drink tea a lot. And of course it's been really fun to just try new things and taste new flavours that I wouldn't have usually tried, and so I'm definitely going to be trying to get out of my tea comfort zone a little more going into the new year, and hopefully you'll see some more tea taste tests because I know some of you have been really enjoying the tea advent calendar. And although sadly I don't have a 365-day advent calendar where I can try a new tea every single day, I'll definitely be continuing to talk about tea into the new year and trying loads of new flavours. So I'm going to kick off the day as per usual with my tea advent calendar, but before I do, I wanted to share a reading update about my current read, which is Such a Fun Age by Kylie Reid. If you've seen my last reading vlog, I unboxed all of the books that I was lucky enough to be gifted over the Christmas period, and this was one of them, and I decided to start this one immediately. I'm now on page 197 of this book, so about 2/3 of the way through, and I am loving it. I've been partially reading the physical copy and then partially listening to the audiobook when I've been out and about driving, and also at the gym yesterday I was listening to the audiobook, and I'm really enjoying it. This is a book that has been talked about so much this year, and so I'm so glad to finally be reading it, and I can 100% see why everyone is loving it so much, because it is just so well written and such an interesting story. Just to give a brief overview of what happens in this book, we follow our main character Amira, who is a babysitter for a very wealthy white family. Amira is black, and at the beginning of the book she is basically caught out at the supermarket by a supermarket cop and some concerned citizens who basically accuse her of having kidnapped this white child that she's looking after, and they basically don't believe that she is legitimately paid to look after this child, and essentially they just profile her based on the colour of her skin. This kind of leads to a series of events where the family that she obviously works for is horrified by this, as well as some other people who see the event are horrified by it, but we kind of see a really interesting insight into privilege, in the sense that the way that people of colour and people who are white respond to these injustices. All of the characters involved recognise that this was an injustice, but Amira, as a person of colour, recognises that if she causes a fuss, the implications for her could be really negative, and actually she could put herself in danger simply just by standing up for herself, whereas white people who don't really sort of face any loss from standing up against injustice are more than happy to try and put videos out there, cause a fuss, go in for a lawsuit, and basically they just have this complete lack of understanding about what the implication of that could be for Amira, and they don't recognise that actually it might not be a good thing for her to try and sort of get justice for herself. As sad as that may be, it could actually cause even worse circumstances. So this book is essentially an insight into privilege, into, I guess, the way that privilege sits in society and just how that affects people just in everyday life, even when not really dramatic things are happening, how privilege does affect every single thing that happens. But as well as that, there are also romances, really interesting interactions between all of the characters, and it's just such a well-written story that I'm loving, and I'm hoping to finish this one either today or tomorrow at the very latest. I'll obviously be sharing my thoughts on this one as I go, but for now it's time for some tea, so let's jump into day number 20 of the advent calendar. This is a super fruit tea. A fruit and herbal infusion with natural flavouring. What's special about this tea? We can't get enough of fruit these days, and this naturally caffeine-free herbal tea is literally bursting with berries. What's more, the invigorating hibiscus flower base not only gives this tea a lovely deep red hue, but slightly punchy and tart taste. And the ingredients are hibiscus, elderberries, blackcurrants, currants, natural flavouring, cranberries, and blueberries. Well, that's going to be nice. I've definitely enjoyed the ones with hibiscus in, because it does kind of give like a little sour flavouring, and then combined with the berries it might be like a little sweet and sour thing. So I'm going to dig into this one and I'll of course let you know what I think. Okay, we have our super fruits tea. Smells berry-ish, which is kind of a given because of the amount of berries in the ingredient list. And my urge to show you the pink colour is kind of there, but last time I tried to show you a brightly coloured tea, I spilled it all over myself, as evidenced in my last vlog. So I'm just gonna smell it instead and allow you to just imagine what it looks like. It's very brightly coloured, and I'm gonna give it a taste. So, super fruits tea. It does have quite a delicate fruity flavour. I do just generally find myself feeling slightly disappointed by berry teas in particular because they are so bright and smell so flavourful, and yet the flavour is always really mild. But despite just being a mild flavour, it is a nice mild flavour, and I'm going to leave the tea bag in to let it brew, so it'll probably get a little bit stronger as I go, but it is definitely a nice one. Good morning guys, happy winter solstice. Today is the 21st of December, so the shortest day of the year and also the official beginning of winter. I started out today doing some reading, but I lit my new winter candle from the White Company just to celebrate the winter solstice a little bit. Kind of different from summer solstice. This time 6 months ago, Jay and I had gone out to like this really nice rock formation to watch the sunrise, and we did the 108 sun salutations that people sometimes do on a solstice, and I'm definitely not going to be doing that today on this very wet wintry day, but I am going to enjoy Winter Solstice with a cup of tea. So I opened my tea calendar this morning and it was a Darjeeling Earl Grey tea. So this is the second Earl Grey that I've had in the advent calendar. The first one was strong Earl Grey, and that was a combination of Earl Grey and black tea. So it did kind of taste more like an English breakfast tea with a hint of Earl Grey, whereas this one is more of a pure Earl Grey. And it smells so incredible, like fruity and delicate and lovely. And I always make my Earl Grey with sugar and oat milk, so that is exactly what I've done with this one, and I'm going to do a little taste test. Beautiful. It almost tastes a little bit biscuity, kind of like a digestive biscuit or a hobnob biscuit in tea form, which is incredible because I'm a big fan of biscuits. So, I guess actually cookies. I know that a lot of you guys are not from England and we call biscuits what you call cookies, I think. So tastes like that in biscuit format. No, in tea format. Clearly I need this tea because I'm not fully awake yet. But I also wanted to share a reading update with you. I still haven't quite finished Such a Fun Age, but I'm only about 40 pages away from the end now, and it is just such an interesting book. I feel so bad for Amira, the main character, because she is surrounded by these two people who are in conflict with each other and are both trying to act in Amira's best interests, except for they are so misguided because they basically are acting as though they're both divorced parents of Amira and as if she's a child, when that's actually not all their relation to her. One of them is a romantic interest and the other is an employer, and these two people are in conflict, and that conflict is then negatively impacting Amira. But they're essentially treating her as if she's not a 25-year-old woman, and instead as if she is a child who can't make decisions in her own best interest, so she needs them to advocate for her. And they both really think that they're doing the best thing by her, but actually they're doing things that are completely against her will and that are going against her own wishes and things that she has said to them to act in her own interest, but really it's not at all in her best interest, and they're kind of just putting themselves before her. And that is kind of obviously something that can happen quite a lot in discussions about race and about like privilege and prejudice, because these two people are essentially who would have, like, I think, a white saviour complex where they constantly think that they're doing the best thing, but really they're only putting themselves first. They're not actually thinking about what they can really do to help this person who might be in need. So it's very interesting, but you do just feel so bad for Amira as a character because she is intelligent and more than capable of making her own decisions, and yet these people are just taking that right away from her. So I'm really excited to see where it goes at the end, because at the moment both of those characters that I've mentioned who are acting supposedly in her best interest are just doing some really horrific things, and I'm just not sure where it's going to go. I'm very interested to see. So I'm going to drink my tea, make some breakfast, and carry on reading, and I'll catch up with you when I'm finished with this book. It is 3 p.m. The sun is about to start setting because it's obviously the shortest day of the year, and somehow I don't think we're going to be getting a beautiful winter sunset today. All we have is mist and fog, which is kind of atmospheric, so I can't complain. So like I said, it is now about 3 p.m, the sun is setting, which is kind of wild, but the benefit to summer solstice and the shortest day of the year means that every single day from now onwards, we're getting a tiny bit lighter every single day, which is so exciting. And I also just finished up reading Such a Fun Age. This was undoubtedly a 5-star read for me. It was so incredibly written. It's obviously about such an important topic, and it's one of those books that is simultaneously super interesting and entertaining to read, in the sense that the characters are compelling, their relationships with each other are really, really interesting, and it's also super educational, so you really feel like you're learning and reinforcing important information in every single page, and it's just absolutely incredible. Absolutely 5 stars without a doubt, and it's definitely going to be on my favourites list of the year. I have loved this book so much, and I can 100% see now why everyone was so excited about this book, because it is just so well written. I feel like I can't really say too much else about what happened in the last 40 pages without giving any spoilers, but I will say is it was a very interesting conclusion, and it was so exciting to see Amira kind of take control of her life, and you just kind of feel a sense of pride for her as a reader because she kind of takes back the control that was being taken away from her by people who claimed to be doing things in her best interest. And so it's a really, really great book. If you haven't read it yet, I'd highly recommend it because it was so good. As a little post-reading treat, I managed to find myself something very exciting at the supermarket today, and it was this Galaxy vegan hot chocolate. It is basically just one of those instant hot chocolates with, like, you just add water, which there isn't really, as far as I know, any other vegan versions of. They're all ones that you have to make with milk, which I do love. I love my oat milk hot chocolates, but sometimes they just feel a little bit heavy and sickly, and sometimes you just want something that's a little bit lighter but still chocolatey and delicious. So I'm going to make one of these, and then later on today, after I've watched some... Oh, do you know what? I think I might watch... There's a new Ariana Grande documentary that's just come out on Netflix that my sister keeps talking about, so I think I might watch that. And then later on, after I've watched that, I think I'm going to start my next read, which is These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong, which is one of the 2 December picks for the Dark Academics Book Club. Together we're reading this book and also A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens, which will be a reread for me because I've read that quite a few times.
The wonders of life got the prettiest side for everyone to enjoy. Standing up close by the Christmas tree, glimmering light, I am right where I wanna be. I will be home for a couple of days, wander around with you.
Okay, so it is now 4 PM and as you can see it's fully dark outside, and I just made my Galaxy vegan instant hot chocolate. I haven't tasted it yet, so I'm going to do a little taste test, but it looks to have turned out really well. The instructions say to use 4 teaspoons and then just top it up with hot water, but in my experience of non-vegan instant hot chocolates, I always add about 1/4 of a mug of whatever milk you fancy. So today I used oat milk just because I feel like it makes it a little bit creamier and also means you can drink it straight away because it's not scalding hot. And then I mix that together with the powder, makes it super frothy, add in the hot water, and then you're good to go. So let's give it a taste test. That is nice. It is not quite as nice as the Cadbury hot chocolate. Let me see if I can find which one I'm talking about. This is the one I'm talking about. So the Cadbury hot chocolate is one that you mix just with milk, and this one is also vegan because it's just made of cocoa powder and sugar and salt. And this one obviously is really, really nice because it tastes more chocolatey and it's made with milk, so it's much more creamy. But this is a great option for like taking to work, or just if you want something really quick, because obviously you can just mix this with water and it's a lot quicker to make because you just need a kettle instead of having to like warm up milk and make a fancy one. So both of these are great, but I'd say I probably prefer this one a little bit more because it's really nice and it's Cadbury's, but still gonna enjoy this.
You and me in the cold, thought it'd never be true. Wherever I go, I got you. Oh, I have stopped running, there is no way trying. You better loosen your belts. Drinking hot wine by the fire, yeah. Don't care of anything else. It's Christmas and some kind of love, my friend. I'll pray it will never end. Do you like to be here too? It's Christmas and outside snow's glistening. It's just you and me tonight. I'll spend all this Christmas with you. Oh, it's such a charm, got you up in my arms. There's nobody at the door. You said I wish this will never be over. Darling, it's time for your present. Come over here. Now it is time to get out in the snow, lighting a light with you. Choirs will sing and the joy bells will ring. Nobody loves you as much as I do. It's a wonderful feeling from floor to the ceiling. It is that time of the year drinking hot wine by the fire. Here on our own, we got nothing to fear. It's Christmas and some kind of love.
Good morning, guys. It is Tuesday, it's the 22nd of December, and I don't know what it is, but I'm feeling so energetic today. I don't know if it's like the winter solstice and the fact that it's getting lighter now, or the fact that it's a super sunny, beautiful winter day, or just the Christmas spirit, but I'm feeling so energetic and so happy. It's also my last work day before Christmas today, so I'm just feeling all around very positive. And you know what we could all do with when we're feeling positive? Some positivity. So let's open up today's tea event calendar and see what we have inside. So it's the 22nd today. The more of the doors I've opened, the harder it's been to hold, because all of the doors, just like your thumbs, kind of fall inside. But 22. Oh, cool! Spiced winter red tea. This is what we had on day 1. So they put this in again, but this is probably my favourite tea from the whole advent calendar, and it was kind of sad that this was day 1 because everything else after this just hasn't been quite as good. So this is one that I'm going to make with a oat milk sugar blend, and I'm going to have some breakfast, but I'll do another taste test just to kind of update you on my thoughts. Maybe I'll give some more in-depth thoughts on the flavour notes. I'm joking, but I will let you know what I think of it again, because things change, and also I feel like I might appreciate this one even more after the fact that I've had quite a few not so great teas, and this is exactly what I'm wanting. This tea came to me on the right day, feeling happy, feeling festive, and a Christmas tea has blessed me with its presence. So let's go make it.
My friend, pick up some candy canes and hang a wreath on your door. It's Christmas, outside snow's glistening. It's just you and me tonight. It's just you and me tonight. It's just you and me tonight. I'll spend all this Christmas with you.
Thought I was gonna sneeze. Well, this tea is literally the most festive smelling tea ever. I think I said this when I first tried this tea on the 1st of December, but it literally smells like Christmas in a cup, and I'm here for it. It smells so, so good. And also, can we just appreciate how cute this mug is? Jay's mum bought it just the other day from, if anyone's from the UK, it was from Sainsbury's, and it's literally so, so cute. So definitely try and get your hands on one if you can, because it's just so beautiful. And I thought this was a perfect wintry festive mug for a Christmas spiced tea, so that's why I decided to use this one today. But let's give it a little taste test. As I knew it was. Absolutely delicious, so, so nice. Just like such a delicate balance of flavours. You have like these festive spices, and then there's the oat milk, so it's creamy, the rooibos tea, which is really warming, and just generally it's just such a nice combination of flavours. So like I said, I have work today, so I'll probably catch up with you on my lunch break when I'll try and squeeze in a little bit of reading. So my lunch break is nearly over, but I have made a start on reading These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong, and I'm now 54 pages in, and I don't really know what I think about this book just yet because it's about 400 pages long, so I'm only at the very beginning and there's a lot going on. For anyone that doesn't know, this is a retelling of Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, but from what I can tell from the first 54 pages, it's very, very different from Shakespeare's version. This one is set in 1920s Shanghai, and the main similarity that I can see between Romeo and Juliet and These Violent Delights so far is just simply the fact that this is a narrative which focuses on two warring families. Instead of the Capulets and the Montagues, in this book we have the Sighs and the Montagoffs. And within both of these families there is an heir, and those heirs are Juliet from the Sigh family and then Roma from the Montagoffs. And there's kind of like a hint of some kind of history or past between these two characters. We don't really know too much about it just yet. And essentially the feud going on between these two families comes from the fact that they're both rival gangs. They're all involved in underground and illegal things in the city, and essentially the war is for territory and for basically like being in charge of Shanghai. And then on top of this feuding families thing, which is where I think the Romeo and Juliet comparison really ends, is essentially the fact that there is a strange phenomena taking place in the city where people seem to be getting overtaken by some kind of madness, and they're kind of like tearing their own throats out and obviously dying. And it kind of seems a little bit like Bird Box for anyone who's either seen or read that, where people just somehow are taken over by something that they just can't control, and that is basically a phenomena that is taking place throughout the city. People think that they've seen a monster in the lake, or the river in the city rather, and they think that that monster might have something to do with it, but we don't really know what's going on yet. So lots of things happening, not sure how similar it's going to be to Romeo and Juliet, but we'll obviously continue reading and see how it goes. I am feeling a little bit nervous because it's quite violent and intense, and I've seen a lot of the other people from the Dark Academics, particularly the other hosts, giving this book not such a good rating, and so I'm slightly nervous to see how it goes and where it finishes, because I think I'm the last one out of the host to finish this book, so I'm kind of nervous having seen everyone else's ratings to see what I actually think of it. But either way, I'm obviously going to continue, share all of my thoughts with you guys and just see where it goes. So that was my lunch break reading. Before I head back to work, I also just wanted to talk to you about my hair, because I feel like, I don't know if you guys can tell, but my curls, I think at least, are looking a little bit more bouncy. They're kind of going slightly higher up my head, which is what I was wanting, because they were kind of getting a little bit low and the top was just straight and then the bottom was curly, and there's still a little bit of work to be done and I would like it to be more curly all the way up to the top, but I do feel like they're getting more bouncy. And the only thing I've changed literally this week has been two things, and they are both in relation to hair care. The first one was I've changed my brush. I brought this Tangle Teezer wet brush, and basically you only use this when your hair is wet in the shower. That's basically the only time you're meant to brush your hair. I have seen a lot of people say this about curly hair, and that it's basically better to only brush it when it's wet, because otherwise you damage the curl pattern. So I've gotten this new brush that's meant to be a lot better and isn't meant to cause any breakage. And then I also got this Detangling cream spray from Tangle Teezer as well, which as you can see is cruelty free and vegan, so obviously a win for me. And this one smells so incredible, but you essentially put this on in the shower as well, put this on, brush through your hair and then scrunch it up and everything. And I'm literally so happy with the result, because this is like the third day now, or maybe the second day post wash, but I like could not be more happy, because this is only after one time using it, so like I'm pretty pleased. So would love to know if any of you also have curly hair, if you have any tips for like basically increasing the amount of curl all the way up to the top without having to cut your hair, because I know long hair does kind of pull the curls down. But either way, I'm very happy with how it's gone, and I would definitely recommend those products because they've clearly done a good job, even just from one wash, and it also looks super shiny, so I'm having a great time. Anyway, gonna go back to work and I'll catch up with you later on. Well, the final day of work before Christmas has been and gone. I am now free to enjoy Christmas to my heart's content. Obviously I have kind of been doing that for the whole of December, but now I can do it completely because I don't have any more work until January, so I can just focus all of my attention on the Christmas spirit, which I'm so happy about. Naturally, the first thing that I did when I finished work was put on my pyjamas. Well, first I had a shower, which is why my hair is all wet, and then I put on my pyjamas, got all cozy, and then I had a lovely catch-up call with the other girls from the Dark Academics book club. We wanted to schedule a pre-Christmas catch-up, and it was so lovely to chat with them all as always, and I was super happy to find out that actually I'm not the only person left that still hasn't read These Violent Delights. Lucy, Carolyn and Emma have all finished it and they haven't loved it, but me and Mary happen to both be at around the same place in this book and we're both kind of unsure on our thoughts so far. I managed to read another 10 pages or so of this book before the call, so I'm now on page 66 and still it's not gripping me. From the title and obviously the fact that it is a Shakespearean retelling, expected it to be a bit more Shakespearean in its atmosphere, but really it's not Shakespearean at all, which obviously it is a retelling, so there's no necessity for it to maintain the atmosphere that Shakespeare created, but I just kind of was hoping for that, and it's a little bit disappointing that it's actually a lot more like graphic, violent and gang focused rather than being about the star-crossed lovers and all that kind of stuff, so it doesn't really have many Romeo and Juliet vibes. But either way, still got quite a lot of this book left to read. Definitely not going to be able to finish this one today, but I am going to finish this vlog here. I will of course start another vlog immediately tomorrow, so you'll be able to see all of my thoughts on the rest of These Violent Delights, as well as the other book for the Dark Academics book club, which is A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. This will actually be the last vlog that goes up before Christmas. It's not the end of Vlogmas, but this one is going up on Wednesday, tomorrow, the 23rd of December. Then the next vlog, which will be Christmas Eve and Christmas Eve, will be actually going up on Christmas Day itself, and then Christmas Day's vlog will be going up on Sunday. So this is my last chance to chat to you all before the big day itself. So if you are watching this on Christmas or leading up to Christmas, whatever it may be, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Christmas build-up. I'm certainly going to enjoy it and I can't wait to see you in the next one. So thank you so much for watching. See you next time.